Hello and welcome to another installation of the International West Qualifiers Recast. I'm CC and this is on my YouTube channel CC Dota, and I've been going through and trying to recast the entire International West Qualifiers. This is only my second game so far out of this series, so there will be some little bit of a slow build up, but that said, let's get into the game here while we can. This game will be the first game of Absolute Legends versus Rox.Kis. First bans out are going to be Magnus and Nyx from Rox.Kis. Both obvious bans. Nyx is just ridiculously overpowered. Thanks to Spike Carapace, his Vendetta, Impale, Mana Bird. He doesn't have a bad skill. Like, he really doesn't. Magnus, pretty much the same way. Empower, not the perhaps best skill, but a great solo mid. Reverse polarity is ridiculous. He can farm pretty much anything. He can catch people out with Skewer, great hero. Batrider, king of catching people out. Between Sticky Napalm and his Lasso, not a fun one to play against. Same with Wisp, just not fun to be against. If you're out of position in the slightest or alone or anything, Wisp teleports on you with two heroes and then you're just gone. And that's no fun for anyone, really. So, those are the bans out for the first four bans, and it looks like Rox.Kis is going to pick up their first hero, and that will be the Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter lately has been an absolute favorite as far as carries go. His flat cannon, incredibly strong for late game. It allows him to attack and hit anyone within 1,000 range of him with a hit. And what that really means is his attack range, as long as there's someone near him to attack, is 1,000, which is huge. And it hits everyone in that 1,000 radius, which is even bigger because then he could hit the entire other team, all of the creeps, everything. With that on top of Barrage, Rocket Barrage, one of the best level 1 skills in the game, and continuing to be one of the best skills really into pretty much the mid game, where it just does a ridiculous burst damage. Very, very useful. He does have pretty much one of the worst stuns in the game in Homing Missile, but, you know, gotta make up for it a little bit somehow. Absolute Legends answers back with a Darkseer and the Nature's Prophet. Darkseer usually running the off lane. Every once in a while you'll see him mid, but that's a rare one. But he is definitely one of the better offlaners, having an escape and a very good way to farm from afar in the Ion Shell. The Ion Shell is one of his bread and butter abilities, really. It helps him very much in the early game be able to do the off lane. Nature's Prophet looks like Absolute Legends wants that global presence of a Nature's Prophet and the Treants, and being able to push lanes out, basically. Darkseer, very good pusher. Nature's Prophet, very good pusher. It looks like they're going for at least a somewhat push-heavy lineup, and Nature's Prophet is very good at that. So, Rox.Kis returns with the Lifestealer, getting a second core. Lifestealer, one of the other favored carries lately, and I'm not sure they weren't just taking the Lifestealer so that AL couldn't have it, but either way, definitely one of the better carries right now. His open wounds is a ridiculous slow. His rage is a free BKB. His ultimate allows him to hop in someone and go for a ride somewhere, or just gain a lot of health, or nuke, depending on really what you want to do. And Feast is just a regular old lifesteal. So the other hero they pick up is going to be the Shadow Demon. Disruption, one of the best support abilities in the game. It allows you to just completely remove one hero from the fight for 2.5 seconds and creates 2 images of them. So this is especially helpful against something like an Anti-Mage or something similar to that with Mana Burn. Very, very helpful. But really just disrupting carries is a great idea either way. Absolute Legends answers back with the Weaver pick. So Weaver's been gaining some momentum lately as a carry. It hasn't become really huge. Mostly used as an offlane hero, but they already have Darkseer and Nature's Prophet as possible offlanes. I've seen Nature's Prophet offlane before. It's not perhaps the best, but Darkseer is a fantastic offlane. Weaver is a fantastic offlane, so definitely have multiple options there as far as what they want to do. Rox.Kis then bans out the Clockwork. They just don't want to deal with the disruption of the cogs, the initiation range of, I think it's 3,000 or 4,000 units for the hook. Just a very good initiation and general disrupting hero. AL's bans out the Tinker, then they don't want any kind of anti-push against them, so it seems. And the Keeper of the Light banned out by Rox.Kis, otherwise I would have guessed Absolute Legends would have banned it out, just because it is another one of those heroes that has a lot of anti-push potential, so it's not always something you want to play against, especially if you're picking something like a Nature's Prophet to help split push. Tinker is one of the other heroes that is exceedingly good at split pushing, so there's no real... you really don't want to have a split push lineup and have to deal with someone that can stop split pushes, hence the ban out of the Tinker. But looks like they could ban out some mid heroes unless they want to play unless Rox.Kis wants to play Gyro mid. But looks like they'll ban out the Lina. That's for the setup stun with the Shadow Demon. Coming out of the disruption makes it very easy for Lina to land a Light Strike array. Otherwise it is a slightly tough ability to land consistently, but this Shadow Demon will really help that out, so they do end up banning that out. The other option there is going to be the Leshrac. Leshrac also has a targeted stun that Shadow Demon helps out immensely coming out of the disruption. If you can time it correctly, as soon as a hero pops out of disruption, they get stunned by Leshrac, Lina, whomever, and then they just get nuked down from there. So a solid ban out from Absolute Legends. They just don't want to deal with that setup. So looks like Rox.Kis needs maybe a mid hero, maybe a support, definitely a support it looks like. Unless they're going to run a support gyrocopter, which has been done, so don't know about that one. It's not the absolute best support, but he is a very good support in that he has that rocket barrage. He has no targeted reliable stun though, which can be a slight problem. So not perhaps the best support, but doable. Absolute Legends and Rox.Kis both decide to ban out mid-heroes as their last ban, Storm Spirit and Templar Assassin being the bans. And there's the Leshrac, like I said, really helping out with that Shadow Demon stun, getting that stun. So that's a very, very potent support combo. Quite possibly an aggressive tri-lane, maybe a defensive tri-lane. Either one would be extremely effective with that combination of abilities. It's a very high kill potential lane. Absolute Legends then comes back with the Sand King. Sand King has a very reliable stun. His ultimate is insane. It does so much damage in team fights. And once he gets a blink, he can land that easily. Be able to channel it, blink in, stun, and you have 2 or 3 heroes sitting in the middle of an epicenter, and that's just a lot of death going on right there. So, looking at the last picks for Rox.Kis and Absolute Legends, both. Rox.Kis, I would guess either a mid-hero. That way, they could run the Lifestealer off lane, Gyrocopter safe lane, tri-lane, and a mid-hero, something like a Queen of Pain, maybe. Something closer to that. Oh, nope, a Puck, also a very good choice. So, it looks like it's going to be Puck at middle, possibly an aggressive tri-lane with Lifestealer, Shadow Demon, and Leshrac, allowing Gyrocopter the safe lane farm. Possibly a safe lane tri-lane with Lifestealer going off lane, but I kind of doubt that one. So, Absolute Legends looking at a mid-hero as well, unless they're going to run Darkseer mid or Nature's Prophet mid or Weaver mid. Really, their options are totally up in the air. I would expect a support personally, but they have a very versatile lineup. It's a little bit greedy. Darkseer, Nature's Prophet, and Weaver all require levels and farm, so it is a bit greedy of a lineup. The Sand King is can obviously be very poor. He really doesn't need a Blink Dagger. It's very helpful, but it's not a 100% necessity. So it's okay if he's poor, but looks like they might have to pick up one more support to round out their lineup. But they got about 30 seconds left on their reserve to think about this one, so they're not going to rush to hasty decisions, naturally. Personally, in this situation, I would definitely pick up a support, but at that same time, I don't know what I would run the lanes as them. I might put the Nature's Prophet mid, Darkseer off lane, and a Weaver tri-lane safe lane, because I would not trust that as an aggressive tri-lane. It looks like they're going to pick up the Skyrat. Definitely a fun pick. He's a fantastic mid-hero, but also a very good support. I personally enjoy him mid a lot more because he can take that Puck very well. He can silence the Puck so that phase shift doesn't come into effect. His ultimate does a ridiculous amount of damage, and his regular spell, Arcane Bolt, his Q, just a continually spammable, very high damage. It becomes higher damage as you level up and get more int. It becomes a much, much better skill as you get levels, but even early game, it is still a very solid, spammable nuke. He also has a slow, which is very helpful, so looks like we're going to start the game here. Start out by introducing AL. It's going to be Miggle on the Darkseer, Unicorn on the Weaver, Rise on the Skyrath, Miracle on the Sand King, and looks like Miggle and Mania swapped, so Miggle will be running the Prophet, and Mania will be on that Darkseer. Looking at Rox.Kis, Solo going to be on his mid-puck, Dread looking at the Lifestealer, BZZ on the Gyro, Yol on the Leshrac, and Vanscore on the Shadow Demon. And it looks like they got some wards, so they very well look like they're running an aggressive tri-lane. Got 5 all coming up here to possibly clean out the jungle a little bit. And looks like we're going to see some try-on-try action with Unicorn, Miracle, and Rise running this defensive tri-lane rather up on the top lane. Rox.Kis just trying to clear the jungle a little bit so they can probably drop a ward in that pole camp from Yol. Nope, Yol lost his wards. Alright, there we go. Vanscore has it. Vanscore does drop an Observer. Doesn't drop the Sentry yet, but looks like he might do it on the backside here. Guess we'll see. And not dropping the ward just yet. But looks like AL is going to put the lane observer ward. This can be very, very helpful in a try versus try situation, just because simply it helps to have vision. Having vision of your enemy is just too huge. And it looks like BZZ is going to find Mania on the bottom lane, just harass down a little bit, but not a big deal. And the most useless level 1, or well, beginning of the game rune, a regen rune. No one even bothers to kill it or pick it up, just in case they need it in one of the lanes. As I was saying though, try versus try vision is paramount. Both teams realizing this with very aggressive wards that can pick out the back side of the lane or the front side of the lane depending on whose ward you're looking at. So vision is key in these situations. They can definitely see each other and they definitely know both teams are tri-laning at this point. Looks like they are going to let them have that pole camp for now though, so I'm sure they're going to stack it up most likely at that first minute mark. And it looks like Mania is going to come down here and start creep skipping. No surprise there. There's not too much danger from a Gyro, because he can keep Gyro away a little bit, but if Gyro does get too close, that could get very dangerous very quickly. He does have level 2 though, and put that little bit up in the extra point in Surge, which is definitely going to be very helpful, because if he does get in range of that Rocket Barrage, he can always just surge away from it at this point. BZZ is going to be taking a bunch of damage under the tower, but not anything he can't really handle. And it looks like the pulls are going on from Rox.Kis here. Maybe that was accidental, but they're pulling it into... Oh, no, it couldn't have been, I'd imagine. But pulling the creep wave into the hard camp here, and that'll allow AL to farm up that hard camp for just a little bit of extra gold. And it looks like BZZ has found Mania here. Mania dropping a couple ion shells in the surge before backing off. BZZ taking out the rocket barrage on him, but that spread it over the neutrals as well, so it didn't do all that much damage. Wasn't too big a deal. And he manages to deny off the creep wave, so not even getting too much experience. AL did stack the camp and started pulling, so looks like the pull is going to be contested a fair bit, but they're not really committing to anything from Rox.Kis here, so they're just going to kind of watch the pull happen with that ward and see if there's any chances for them to jump on it. But so far they haven't found an opening, but they may jump in at some point, but looks like the pull's pretty much over. They do pull the creep wave down and out though, which is definitely going to be helpful. That way they don't have to worry about laning for that. They don't have to worry about getting picked off in lane or out of lane or anywhere else. They can pull it back towards their tower and stay a lot safer. Looking at the mid matchup, Miggle and Solo both here, both doing pretty well. Puck has 8 and 3. The Nature's Prophet is at 11 and 4, doing a little bit better than the Puck. Just a tad bit surprising, especially with this illusion rune. But Puck is definitely going to be able to catch up very quickly, as you can see. So 13 and 3 to 12 and 4. Solo does have his bottle, which will be immensely helpful, and Miggle does not. No surprise. Doesn't look like he'll probably be going a bottle here. Oh, he does end up going a bottle. That's a little bit different. But it looks like they're going to be going on Mania on the bottom lane here. BZZ drops the homing missile to get the stun up and drops the rocket barrage a little bit too early. But BZZ is going to be getting hit by that Nature's Prophet, and those Nature Prophet treants are very, very nice for tanking up the rocket barrage damage. Mania gets disrupted, but he will be able to make it away. BZZ is going to lay chase, but Miggle's getting in a little bit too deep here. He might be in a lot of trouble. Looks like he might give up first blood. It's going to be a close one, but BZZ takes first blood. Miggle going down on the bottom lane, but Gyro getting out with 55 health and Shadow Demon with 85 health, so not too... They ran it a little bit close there, let's say that. Mania pulling the creep wave back a little bit. Looking at the tri lane here, as you can see, Rise just spamming out that Arcane Bolt. Definitely does quite a bit of damage, and it is very, very spammable, which is very helpful as far as keeping people out of lane. Miggle doing a little fun thing here with the Treants, pretty much just summoning them and just chasing solo out of lane with them. They don't do too much damage, but they do 22 a hit, and there's 3 of them, so 66 if you can land all 3 hits per hit, and that does add up very quickly, especially on Puck with a very low armor here. So he doesn't have a great HP pool, doesn't have a great armor, but oh, Lifestealer picking off the Weaver up top. I missed most of that, caught the very tail end of it, but looks like Dread got the Weaver at the very last second there. Definitely a good kill for them, getting the enemy carry. Huge boon for an aggressive tri-lane to be able to get those kinds of kills without losing one of your own, without losing anything of your own, really. So Rox.Kis definitely in a good position right now at 2-0 as far as kills go. As far as CS, the Darkseer's still coming through with this creep skipping, and it shows definitely in his last hits. He's 25, about to be 28 and nothing. Puck at 24 and 8, and it looks like they're going to drop the homing rocket again from BZZ, and the rocket barrage coming out. Look at that damage, huge on Mania, and Mania will go down. At the same time, Puck manages to take out the Nature's Prophet at the middle, but you could just see the damage from the rocket barrage there. Went from 3/4 health to absolutely nothing very, very quickly. BZZ also farming up very well at 21 and 8 and has 2 kills under his belt, so he's doing very well with the Phase Boots and Wraithband. He will deny off the bottom tower here, so that does save them a little bit of gold versus getting the tower kill. So a very unfortunate turn of events for AL. That Darkseer, he didn't hear the rocket, he didn't see the rocket because BZZ did a really smart thing, and he put it down back in the fog here. And if you put it in the fog, he can't really see it until it's way too late. The rocket hits him, and then BZZ's on top of him. Looks like they might be going on Yol here top lane. Yol going a little bit too far out, and the stun coming through, and Skywrath getting that kill with an Arcane Bolt. Definitely a good kill for them. They're trying to ward off that aggressive tri-lane, and getting kills against it really is the number1 way to ruin a tri-lane. Definitely a solid play from them. They did have to rotate a couple up there. Mania came up to kind of secure that kill, and he helped definitely with the Ion Shell. Huge source of damage for them right there. BZ is going to be pushing in on this bottom tower now, getting a bunch more last hits and putting just a little bit of pressure, not a whole lot, but looks like Solo burning off the Illusory Orb there to get some last hits. He's still topping the charts, 38 and 8 on the Puck. He has a Wraithband, boots, full magic wand, and a bottle at this point, which is definitely doing fairly well for himself in that lane. Goes for the deny, misses it, but not a big deal. Looks like Mania is going to be TPing bot to try to defend against this Gyro. And if there's one thing that AL really doesn't want to do, it's going to be letting this Gyro farm. He's been getting pretty much unmolested free farm. The Darkseer's been creep skipping because there's not a whole lot he can truly do against BZZ here. So he has been creep skipping to keep his own last hits up, but that also means that BZZ is not getting harassed or hit or anything, and it looks like Solo is getting gone on in here in the middle. He gets a good silence out and gets to his Illusory Orb, drops his ultimate to pull Rise in there. Vanscore in here with the Disruption and Soul Catcher, and even Gyro rotates mid to drop his ultimate. Solo ends up getting the kill on Skywrath with the Illusory Orb, and that looks like it'll be about the end of aggression here. BZZ did end up missing the call down, so it wasn't the absolute best thing he could have done, but definitely forced the Skywrath mage to go in instead of out. He couldn't run back, because if he did, he would run straight into the call down and die, so it forced him area denial right there, so it forced him right into the tower there. Gives Mania a chance, though, to farm up bottom, get a bunch more creep kills, see if he can get some gold going. On the other hand, BZZ still farming really well, 44 and 14. He's really accelerated his farm by coming to middle and partaking in that kill, getting another assist, and that assist gold will definitely help him out.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Dread up here doing reasonably well. He's at 29 and 9 as far as last hits go. He has his phase boots, which will definitely be very helpful. Looks like he might be going for the race car kind of build. But looks like Vanscore is going to drop the Disruption, and the stun coming out from Yol will connect on Unicorn. Unicorn goes down to Shadow Demon. That was a full kill there. Very, very involved with all of their abilities going out, but definitely worth it to get another kill on that Weaver. And as you can see, Yol really had his timing on point, because if you miss that timing really at all with the Weaver, he goes into Sakuchi and you can very easily miss the stun at that point because he does have that 522 move speed. They did drop the ward though, so they could see him if he went into Sakuchi, so that's definitely helpful, but at the same time, if he does get into it, it's very, very tough to chase him down while he has max move speed. So, good kill for them, keeping the Weaver down. Weaver looks like he's going for a regen build here. So he has the Ring of Bacillus, he has the Ring of Regen, and he has the Boots of Speed. So that just means he can disassemble the Ring of Bacillus whenever he feels like, drop it all and get phase boots, and then reassemble the Ring of Bacillus when he feels like it. Dread still running up here. The supports have mostly rotated away at this point to go harass other lanes and do things like warding and other fun little activities. So looks like it's pretty much going to be just Dread on Unicorn with Skywrath just kind of hanging out in the back here, not doing a whole lot, not getting a whole lot of levels either, but they're going to rotate away now, and Nature's Prophet has moved into the jungle. He was getting a little bit oppressed in the middle lane by that Puck, so he is not doing as well as the Puck, but pretty close. It's 51-10 to 47-6. So Miggle down 2 deaths though, rather, so still not ideal. And it looks like Solo's going to drop the ultimate on Mania, and the Shrek stun getting it at the last minute. Mania was trying to TP out, but Yol manages to get that stun at the very last second and cancel the TP so they could get that kill. Looks like they're going on Dread here, though. Dread pops the Rage to be able to dodge some of Ryze's spells, and it looks like Vanscore is going to come in to get some backup for him, and that'll end most of the aggression there. BZZ also teleported top, so now it's looking like they're going to turn it around here, and the call down is out. Ryze looks like he's going down, and he just evaporates after getting out of that disruption. Miggle's here with an Invis Room, but he really doesn't want to pop out and go 3 versus 1, 4 versus 1, so he will back off a little bit. Meanwhile, looks like Solo's still just kind of pushing and farming out mid. The Nature's Prophet just giving him a little bit of harassing there. Sand King coming up. Might have been able to get a stun out, but not really the best thing to go on a Puck right now. He still has his Illusory Orb, so not much you're going to get there. He's just going to poof away as soon as you try to go on him. Dread does pick up the tower kill on top. 3 of them there pushing on that tower, and Dread gets the last hit, so he'll work on even increasing his gold. Unicorn has moved to the jungle now as well and has finished up his wand, so that'll be very helpful for him in getting a little bit more stability in lane and a little bit more health and mana with those couple attributes. Sand King, a little bit poor, but that's totally expected. Looks like Dread and Yol are going to look at some aggression on top lane, but Ryze does back off at the right time to be able to stay alive. Meanwhile, Miggle is farming up the enemy jungle, knowing that pretty much everyone is out of it, because him and Mania have mostly the control of the jungle here. So he drops an Ion Shell just to push out the lane a little bit, but BZZ will come and just pretty much kill off all the creeps and keep his farm quite high. He has gone Drums, so Phase Drums will give him a lot of move speed, a bunch of early game stats. It's a very mid-game oriented build, so that's a very solid damage build for the mid-game, which is going to be his specialty. Looks like he's also going for a Yasha, so that is once again speaking volumes to how good they really think Gyro is during the mid-game. And it's true, he really does destroy if he gets enough farm for that mid-game. Saw Puck get her Blink Dagger as well here. Definitely a huge pickup for Puck. Makes her one of the hardest heroes to kill. And it looks like they're going to catch out Mania. The smoke got dispelled, but they did not get in range for that disruption. Kind of a misplay perhaps by Vanscore. Once the smoke gets dispelled, you really want to kind of push up straight into the enemy hero. But I hear a Puck ultimate dropped. Miracle stunning him up while getting tagged up in that ultimate. And he will be going down. And Puck gets the last hit there. 4 of them all getting assist gold out of that one. So that's definitely a very good team kill. Dread picks up the armlet at this point. Huge pickup for him. That'll really help his mid-game presence as well. And it looks like Rox.Kis is really moving into a mid-game oriented builds here. All of these heroes could go late-game builds. Gyro and Dread both able to go late game if they do something like get a hand of Midas or start saving up for big items really fast. But it looks like they're going to try to just come through and annihilate the mid-game as much as possible. It looks like Unicorn's pushing on that tier 1 on top, so Dread will just TP just to dissuade a little bit of the aggression there. Mania still farming up the enemy jungle. He has gotten his arcane boots, and it looks like he might be going towards a soul ring or something of the sort, but he's still a ways off of really anything in the way of that. Vanscore will catch him out again, but this time he still will not drop the disruption. He is in range, but there would have been no follow-up, so no need to waste the mana at that point. Yole's just trying to farm up middle a little bit, and it looks like he got his magic stick, has boots, which is definitely a plus for support, but Puck throwing out the orb and blinking back, running out of mana with that quickly, but it's okay. It's been quite a calm game for the last little bit, and Sand King does have his arcane boots, which will be helpful for him and his entire team. Miggle still farming up the jungle. Rise kind of hanging out near him within experience range, and Rise has hit 6, and that will be immensely helpful in getting that Mystic Flare. Mystic Flare, just a massive damage, so he definitely can contribute to team fights and pick off solo heroes at this point, so that'll be a huge boon to them. Miracle getting ultimated up by the Puck will try to get away, but all the damage coming out from Puck between the silence and his illusory orb, and Leshrac will take the last hit with his lightning there. Very good pick off for them, catching Sand King out there. And he tried to get away once he got the ultimate from Puck hit on him, but didn't manage to burrow strike away far enough. Miggle, Rise, still co-farming the jungle. Not much going on there. Looks like Dread and Unicorn are just kind of trading hits and having a little bit of fun with each other. But really, there's not too much kill potential until they all rotate in. And there's the power of the Mystic Flare. But Rox.Kis Dread will try to escape by infesting into a creep. Ends up going down either way. Pops the rage, but it was no use. He was way too low and didn't get enough back from that infest to be able to live through that. Rox.Kis has 3 heroes on the bottom lane now. Looks like they might be trying to push out that tower a little bit. And Yole has got a point into Diabolic Edict, but looks like I hear Disruption, and Miracle getting hit with the rocket momentarily, and he does go into the Sandstorm to dodge it. Call down is going to miss, but just barely, and it looks like Solo's trying to go on him, but he did not have mana for anything at that point, but he does get the kill on him anyway. The silence coming off and the vacuum from Rise and Mania there. Gonna get this kill on Solo, it looks like. Oh, but the Illusory Orb pops the wand charges and gets the mana for the Illusory Orb. Very good play from Solo. He might actually get away from this, it looks like, but Unicorn is coming down here and may be able to clean this up thanks to the complete lack of mana. And Puck does give away his mega kill streak to the Weaver. Weaver's doing slightly better now. He has the treads, so definitely recovering from his early game a little bit. Still not where he really needs to be to outcarry a Gyro with 106 last hits and a full Yasha at this point, but he is getting a bit closer. Yole kind of marching around in middle lane, just hanging out, possibly dropping some wards, getting some vision. Mania is going to go for that rune, and the stun missed from Yole, and the Darkseer will get that rune. Pops the rune immediately, and it looks like the Prophet's going to TP in to get Yole here. And Mania chasing after him as well. And that's a very good block from Miggle there. Microing those treants to be able to get the block. Dread is going to get silenced up and Mystic Flared. But Vanscore is coming in to give him a little bit of support for that kill on the Darkseer. They do get the full body block in there on him. Unicorn gets ulted by Puck. Drops his own ultimate to get out of the Puck stun. And manages to Sakuchi away. Definitely a good play from Unicorn, recognizing that immediately upon Puck dropping his ultimate, he had to pop his own to get out of there. So he managed to get away from it, and BZZ denies the top tower, denying a bunch more gold to AL. That's the second tower that has fallen from the Radiance towers, and both of them have been denied up to this point. So Miracle still a ways off his Blink Dagger, another 1,700 gold or so. He's got quite a while to go on that. Miggle back to his old farming habits, and he does have a Midas, so that will be good in getting him a bit more farmed a bit more XP. It does give a lot of experience if you use it on big jungle creeps, and it does give plenty of gold for him, so going to be a good pickup. And it looks like he's going to be going for the Shadow Blade, the split push build more or less, so that he can kind of come in, split push, and get out. He will just buy the Lothar straight up, or Shadow Blade rather, straight up and have it shipped out to him that quickly, and that just shows the farming power of a Nature's Prophet. He has 86 less hits, so it's not like he had a bad early game, but to be able to pick up something like that in cash this early in the game, definitely very helpful. Looks like they're going to go on Miracle, dropping the homing missile, and Miracle had just used his Burrow Strike to start farming. Miracle will go into the Sandstorm and dodge the rocket and dodge everything else, but BZZ will drop his ultimate and kill off the Sand King. Looks like they're going to be pursuing out Miggle, but Miggle just pops the Shadow Blade and TPs away. Unicorn gets a kill up here on Yol, but at the same time, Darkseer does go down to the Shadow Demon. Unicorn trying to chase away the Shadow Demon, but he's already all the way back here and TPing out, so nothing's going to come of that. 1-for-1 trade there, and a 1-for-0 trade on bottom, so AL definitely getting the worst end of the trade, but not by too much. Looks like Dread is going to go in for the Orchid. That's what it's called. He has the one of the Oblivion staffs now, just working on the other one and the recipe, and he will be able to pick that up. And on the Courier, nope, nothing really on the Courier for him, nothing big at least. So he still has quite a ways to go off that Orchid, but that will be a huge pickup once he gets it. Being able to silence out the Weaver is going to be key in locking him down. If he can't Sakuchi and can't time lapse, he can't stay alive. And that's just one of the keys of Weaver. If he isn't able to constantly just dodge everything, he is more or less a glass cannon. Even with the drums and strength treads, he only has 1100 health, which is not all that much when you look at something like BZZ is already doing 165 damage a hit. Thanks to that Helm of the Dominator he just picked up, he has another 20 damage, and his armor is ever increasing, already up at 18, which would give him a solid 53% damage resistance. And it looks like the Lifesteal is going to be infested up in Solo. Solo with the Blink Dagger really has a giant initiation range, and with the Lifestealer being able to just pop out of him at any point, going to be very helpful in getting the initiation down. Solo has his ultimate up as well, very helpful for his initiation. And while that's going on, Unicorn is split pushing on bottom, and the rest of the team is kind of milling about mid, pushing a little bit of pressure on it, but not a whole lot. TP reactions to both those towers will save any major damage from happening, so there's not much recourse from AL for sacrificing that tier 2 tower. There was no trade, no kills, no nothing. Definitely not a good trade for them. Mania has finished the mech though, so that'll definitely help push the fights a little bit closer in the AL's favor, but I'm not sure if that will really be enough at this point. With something like the Gyro having everything he does and farming up the Ancient stack now, it's going to get really out of control really quickly, especially with that Helm of the Dominator and Flat Cannon allows him to farm this Ancient stack while taking minimal damage, or at least significantly less damage than if he didn't have the lifesteal, so he will be able to finish his BKB in another 1,000 gold or so. He has the hammer and the ogre club, so just about 1,000 gold for the recipe, and then I'm not sure what AL will do at that point, because then they have no lockdown for the Gyro. None of their ultimates go through BKB. The only thing that they might be able to do is Miggle could drop the Sprout, but the problem with Sprout under magic immunity is that you can't actually target a unit with Sprout who's magic immune, such as the Lifestealer or a BKB Gyro. You have to kind of click at the ground underneath them and not on the hero themselves, and it's just not nearly as accurate or useful as just being able to click on the hero. But that's the only kind of lockdown they're going to have. But with the Gyro, it doesn't really matter because he has range, and with the flat cannon, he has such a ridiculous range that it doesn't really matter that he's kind of locked in there unless everyone just locks him in there and runs away as quickly as possible, which doesn't seem too practical. So BZZ is about 600, 650 gold away from that. And just going to take a look at the net worth chart here. Gyro peaking at a 11k, which is definitely the highest on the map by far. Puck coming in at number 2 with 8,700, Lifestealer with 8,100, and the top farmer on the Dire coming in at just short of 8,000, about 3,500 short of the top farmer on the Radiant, Gyro. So it's going to be a little bit tough for them to be able to combat this. Mania pushing on the bottom, trying to get at least some kind of recourse for the middle tower, but not doing a whole lot there. They do manage to get the top tier 2, Unicorn and the Prophet Miggle did manage to get that. And it looks like Solo's going to initiate here, drop his ultimate, and the Shadow Demon coming through with the Purge onto Miggle. They can see Miggle here, as looks like Shadow Demon has a gem. They get the kill on him, and Vanscore managed to cancel the TP from Unicorn. Unicorn trying to make an escape, but no chance there. That gem just being key and paying for itself in full in that fight. Managing to pick off both heroes there, the Weaver and the Nature's Prophet, one right next to each other, as you can see from the bloodstains. The gem, key pickup. And on top of that, Nature's Prophet has a Midas that is off cooldown, so that's a solid 190 gold and a ton of experience that he will not be getting for the next 19 seconds, and it slows down the cooldown off of that. Mania running around with an Invisibroom. Looks like there's going to be an initiation on Yol, and dropping the Mystic Flare. And looks like Miracle will get that kill, getting the last right click in there. On the top side, though, Dread manages to pick off the Skywrath Mage. Mania coming in from the backside, but surging himself away. They're going to try to go on Miracle, but Miracle manages to Burrow Strike and blink away. He does have his blink now, which is going to be very, very huge for him. Being able to blink in and ultimate or blink away and escape out of the sandstorm, going to be very, very important. BKB up on BZZ now, just as possibly the most important item in the game right now, as there really is nothing on AL that can stop him now, and I don't see what AL can really do about this. He's going to walk into a team fight, pop the flat cannon, pop the BKB, and then the team fight's going to be over. He just puts out almost 200 damage a hit at this point, and he has 1,500 health almost with the drums and BKB helping out there. It's going to be a tough one to bring him down. Mania just trying to keep creep skip to get that middle tower, but it looks like Puck is going to be TPing in. Nice TP reaction to defend that, and he is going to ultimate on Mania. Mania is going to try to TP away and does manage to get out. Yol, the stun not coming through quite fast enough. That's going to be a bit of a waste from Puck, but had to try there. I don't blame him for trying, but very, very good play from Mania, recognizing that Puck can't really stop him TPing after he drops his coil. And also recognizing, on top of that, the supports were all far enough away that they couldn't actually cancel his TP either. So, good awareness from Mania there. Vanscore still sitting on Arcane Boots and a Wand. Yol, pretty much nothing as well. Got his Urn and a Bracer, which will be helpful, and a normal Wand. So, Mania has picked up the Force Staff, which will be immensely helpful in just positioning in general during team fights, and even escaping, it'll be very, very helpful. Looks like AL is going to be smoked up mid here. A couple supports trying to make something happen. They recognize they are behind and just want something to happen. DD Rune sitting in the river, but they'll go ahead and not go for that. They also ward up the Radiant Ancients, forcing them to not be able to stack it. And it looks like Dread and Solo will pop out. Miracle trying to initiate on them, but just a very poor initiation, as they did not realize that Dread had infested into the Puck. So, you initiate on him, they initiate on you. Luckily, there was only one casualty, as the rest of AL managed to back off quickly enough, and the Gyrocopter did pick up the DD Rune, so it looks like they might be going Roshan here, doing, oh geez, 310 damage it looks like. Huge, huge amounts already for a Gyro this early, especially with the DD. Very, very nice totals for him. And they're just going to take Roche real quick. No real contention from AL. I don't think they could contend at this point, especially not without Sand King's ultimate. If they had the Epicenter, perhaps they could, as that's a solid 500-600 damage in an AoE. But without that, and with Darkseer on the top here, without that wall, there really is no contention. They were very, very well aware of that happening, though, thanks to this ward, but they choose not to contest, as they don't want to lose a team fight again. Weaver does have his Yasha and Ultimate Orb up, definitely boosting his survivability and speed. He'll be going for a Manta real soon here, only a couple hundred away from the recipe, so that'll be coming out soon as he manages to pull the gold for that. Yol back to farming up a little bit of the small camp. Vanscore and Yul kind of following each other around, and Vanscore did pick up the Medallion of Courage, which certainly helped out at Roche, I'm sure, unless he just picked it up. I didn't see if it got used on Roche or not, but a very good item for him, as really his armor is not that large, his life isn't that large, and if he positions properly, he won't really need to get hit either way. But if he does manage to get that medallion out on a key hero like the Weaver, like the Nature's Prophet, and Nature's Prophet, I heard the coil up here, Nature's Prophet, and the ultimate from Sand King, the ultimate from Skywrath coming in, and Puck just gets obliterated, just absolutely destroyed. Dread getting taken down now thanks to the silence from Rise, and Puck will come in again, buy back, blink, throw his illusory orb out, and blink right back out. At the same time, though, there's some pressure on the bottom tier 3 from the Radiant, with Yul, BZZ, and Vanscore pushing in on that. Looks like Mania. Oh, wow, that is bad timing for the disconnect from Leshrac. Very, very bad timing in the middle of the team fight here, but we can give him a second to reconnect. It looks like Mania is about to go down. Give me 2 seconds to analyze the team fight itself. Mania is about to go down with 62 health. Rise just TPing in. Looks like Unicorn is about to TP in as well, and Miggle already here. BZZ has just started to drop the BKB, so it looks like nothing is going to really touch him at this point, and this is going to be the real test of faith here. He has 4,300 gold, though, which is kind of ridiculous, I just noticed. Anyway, we're really test of faith here from BZZ. He popped the BKB, and now there is nothing they can do to him. He has the Aegis, but the fact that he popped the BKB before dying and using the Aegis, and then popping the BKB, really speaks volumes to his confidence about this team fight. If they can't actually kill him, then there's no need for him to lose the Aegis, and just pop the BKB now, take out the entire team, and then pop the Aegis if absolutely necessary later. But I really doubt that he's going to need it. And it looks like Yul has come back into the game, so hopefully we'll see an unpause momentarily. And Miracle having to retreat back, does have a gem, but he has to retreat back with 290 health. That flat cannon just doing work on him. As you can see, he's a little bit outside of the range, but there is still one projectile here coming at him. And it looks like we're going to have a resume, and let's watch as Mania gets destroyed, and BZZ just kind of stomps on everyone. He drops the ultimate, but actually they're going to retreat. I'm not totally sure about that. There was no real support there, I guess, as Leshrac did die immediately as well. So BZZ pops the BKB and ends up retreating, but I think they could have taken that fight, but it would have been really risky under the tier 3 tower. Not worth the fight for them, so BZZ going to go back to farming the Ancients. He is going to just back off a little bit, leave some there for everyone else. But clear off the entire creep wave with flat cannon and leave that one Ancient here. And that's just a cheeky little move from him. He knows that Miggle on the Nature's Prophet has been farming the Ancients, and leaving one there means, especially one of these small Ancients, means that when they come here to farm it, they're going to find one creep instead of 3 creeps. So just cutting back on their gold a little bit here and there. Cheeky little play, but very effective. Miracle coming through, just farming up that middle lane. Vanscore throwing out a Shadow Poison for some vision. And BZZ and Dread are just going to go back to farming the jungle, trying to get up their next set of items. BZZ does have something flying out to him, and it looks like he'll pick up his Manta Style. Definitely a key pickup for him. And it looks like Unicorn also picked up his own Manta Style. Kind of copying each other's item builds a little bit here, but both have very good pickups. Unicorn does get that, and Unicorn gets initiated on, possibly going to pop his ultimate to get some life back. Big team fight going down here. Dread gets hit with Mystic Flare. Unicorn has to get 4-staffed out, though, after time-lapsing back in the middle of the fight and taking huge amounts of damage. BZZ had already popped the BKB and will be forced back a little bit by the Dire. Looks like Miracle's going to go down to the Leshrac stun and the Rocket Barrage. BKB knocking that one, or BZZ rather, knocking that one out. Miggle going to get stunned up by the homing missile, and the flat cannon is going to do a little bit of damage to everyone. Perfect wall there, pulling everyone in, pulling BZZ in. Looks like BZZ is going to try to pop the Aegis here. I mean, he doesn't have too much time left on it. Yeah, a minute or so. So he can re-engage there and use it later, but he has a minute left on it, so he might have just been better served popping it right there and letting it go. They will get out, though. They did some damage to the tier 3 tower, did kill the Sand King, and nope, there were no buybacks forced out by anyone, so no real loss for AL, and I would almost consider that a victory. Even though they didn't get any kills, they only lost one, and they managed to defend their base. They managed to push them back, despite BZZ using that BKB. And it looks like Miggle's going to go on Yol here. Yol stunning himself, more or less, to break the trees. He didn't think of that quite soon enough, though, and Miggle gets the kill and then TP's out. Smoked up here, Rise and Sand King in the jungle. Just looking for someone farming through their jungle or something, but they won't find anything there. Mania pushing out the middle lane with the Ion Shell. Universe looking to farm bottom, but Solo already has that one locked down. It looks like Solo will be going for a BKB of his own. He has the mech up, so it turns out he ended up being the mech carrier this game. A little bit unorthodox, but not entirely bad. And it looks like Nature's Prophet pulls out the Sheep Stick, Scythe of Ice here. A 32-minute sheep from him, definitely going to be extremely helpful, especially since it is an instant cast. There's no cast animation on the Scythe of Ice. That will be immensely helpful in locking down the Gyro. If he can get that off before Gyro gets the BKB off, they can sheep the Gyro and just try to nuke him down as soon as possible so that he can't get the BKB off. Looks like Solo and Dread are going to initiate. Dread was infested inside Solo coming in, but it looks like Miracle is going to come in with his ultimate. Mystic Flare drop. BZZ pops the BKB and the call down, but everyone kind of just runs away from him. I don't blame them in the least. Sprout coming through, and it looks like they're going to have a turnaround. What drops the wall, breaks the Aegis out there. And he might be going down twice here, BZZ. BZZ ends up getting sheep. Miracle kind of hanging out there. Gets the stun up, sprouted up, and silence. And he will end up going down. Gyrocopter loses his mega kill streak. And that was a very, very solid defense from AL. Perfect initiation from the Puck and Dread, but it just wasn't enough. When they initiated in, they kind of overextended out into this area a little bit too much. And everyone just ended up getting annihilated. BZZ popped his BKB a little bit early. Everyone managed to see that he BKB'd and kind of went from here and immediately started retreating back because they just don't want to deal with that BKB. So they did manage to waste his BKB, and then he got sprouted, and then he got stunned, and then he got silenced and nuked from Rise, and then the BKB popped, or the Aegis popped, and he got sheeped up, and that was the end of that. Unicorn trying to farm up the Ancients here. He's looking a little bit low, but he does have 13 wand charges, which won't be a problem. Miggle TP's in to try to take Solo out, but Solo, recognizing this, blinks away and manages to get away. Miggle trying to push out the bottom lane now, looks like. Doing a little bit of pushing here, while the Radiant recovers and slowly pushes out and puts a little bit of pressure on that middle lane. Solo has finished his BKB. Looks like he did manage to use it last fight. I didn't quite catch that, so I'm sorry about that one. But his 10-second charge is gone now. That's going to be immensely helpful for him as well. The only problem is, as you saw with the Gyro, as soon as they see the BKBs, they have enough mobility that they can just back off and wait for them to expire. Unicorn can get away with the Sakuchi, Mania with Surge, Force Staff, Blink on Miracle. They can just see the BKBs and run. And it looks like they're going to be initiation on Solo. Very good phase shift there. Does pop the BKB, a little bit questionable. Didn't quite need to pop the BKB, but he wasn't sure if there was going to be any more follow-up there. Miggle taking a bunch of damage from Vanscore, and Yol here will end up going down to his own illusions and Leshrac. Vanscore, that Medallion of Courage coming in handy there, getting a little bit extra damage onto the Nature's Prophet. Looks like they're just going to push right in mid, and Weaver will deny the mid tower from them. As you can see, even BZZ hitting buildings will activate that flat cannon. Looks like they're going to take down the mid racks without any contention at all from AL. Melee racks down, working on the range racks, but that'll go down fast enough. Dread finished up his Orchid a little bit ago. Managed to get the Hyperstone as well. He'll be going into an Assault Cuirass to help with the armor and minus armor. And Solo has picked up Boots of Travel so that he can pop back and forth between lanes like this and kind of work on slowing down the split pushing. The split pushing from Nature's Prophet and Weaver so far hasn't been too bad, but it could get a little bit out of hand later in the game, though they do have to deal with this Rax being down now, which is not the best thing for them, but is manageable with someone like Nature's Prophet being able to split push that out. Unicorn has picked up a Chrysalis, so he'll get a bit more DPS coming out, which will definitely be nice. They need the damage desperately to be able to take down Dread and BZZ. BZZ's at 5,000 gold here, and just take a look at the net worth charts. He's at 19,000 overall net worth. Just huge, huge net worth for him. Puck slowly trailing behind at 1350, or 13.5 rather. And the Nature's Prophet has overtaken Dread with 13,000. Weaver also overtaken Dread with 13,000 almost herself, and Dread at 12.3. Gonna push in the top lane here. Just kind of play some pressure on there. Mania's going to try to initiate, but just backs off. He knows it's not time quite yet to drop his wall, as it looks like Rox.Kis is just going to back right off. Mania pursuing out a little bit, but not really going to find too much. Vanscore just scouting out, and they will find Vanscore. Vanscore dropping the purge, getting stunned up, dropping the wall in the middle of the fight there. BZZ is in the middle of everything with that BKB, really laying down the hurt. Oh, and Puck missing the ult on the Darkseer there. That's going to cost them and not let them take Darkseer's life there. BZZ's BKB is on cooldown now. Solo's BKB is still on cooldown from the last time he used it, and Yol almost going down, but going to get earned back up. Yol now carrying that gem, gets mech'd up from Solo as well, carrying the gem though, so they really don't want him to die and lose that. Dread just going back to farming, has 1,800 gold or so, and nothing really on the courier, so he's still quite a ways away from the Salt Cuirass, couple thousand gold at least. Well, yeah, about 1,000, 2,000 maybe at most. Too early in the morning for math right now, so I'll leave that one to the viewers if they want to calculate it. BZZ sitting on 6,000 gold now. I don't know what he's going for. He could almost just buy a rapier outright. Not that that'd be the best idea, but he can pretty much get anything he wants right now. He is waiting on it though, possibly to see what the other item choices are from everyone else. So maybe he'll spend that gold soon, but he's up at 6,100. He needs to do something about it. Looks like they're checking out Roshan. BZZ just kind of pokes his illusions in there, and just to check to see if everyone else is doing it. Looks like there might be a confrontation here around Roshan, but AL is just kind of backing off and going to let them have it. They couldn't really contest right now anyway, what with Darkseer's ultimate being down. Only a couple more seconds though, so they could actually come in and contest that. Possibly with Sand King's ultimate and Darkseer's ultimate, they could definitely take a fight if they manage to land both of those ultimates very well. Rox.Kis, realizing this, does back off a little bit, goes for the D ward to deny the vision, which is going to be huge in helping out this conflict, because you just do not want to deal with them having full vision of you. Not a fun time there. Everyone kind of backs off though, playing a little bit passively. No one really wants to lose that fight. For AL here, if they did lose the fight, that would probably mean another set of racks, possibly the game. And for Rox.Kis, if they lose that fight, they would just kind of lose a lot more of their advantage, which would not be a fantastic idea from them. Quick pause here from AL. Apparently they're having some Skype issues. Give me a second to look at the item builds from Mania here, picking up the Ultimate Orb and a Vitality Booster. Unicorn, still waiting, has about 2,600 gold in the bank. Not quite buying anything else up yet. Rise carrying the gem. Miracle has his Ogre Club up. Looks like he might be trying to go for a BKB as well, but he is still very far away from that. Looks like Rox.Kis smokes up and is going to initiate. Solo coming in, doesn't quite get there soon enough. Drops the ultimate on Rise and will throw the illusory orb out. Chooses not to jaunt to it, but Dread comes out and kills him immediately, picking up the gem on the way out. That was a costly death for AL, showing that they do not have the gem anymore is going to be a little bit of a problem for them, though not the end of the world. It will allow Rox.Kis to de-ward everything in sight and allow them to go for this Roshan with complete confidence, showing that Rise is down. AL kind of cycling into the middle lane. They probably know that Roshan's being done, but they also recognize there isn't a whole lot they can do about it. The Weaver bugs coming through are going to point it out, giving them vision in that hole. And Vanscore coming out and getting sheeped. And it looks like Sand King's initiating with his ultimate. Wall is down in the hole, but Gyrocopter's already picked up the egg, has already blown his BKB. Solo already blew his BKB, but Mania going down. Tons of damage coming out on Solo from Unicorn, but he managed just to phase shift away. BZZ coming out of the pit now. Unicorn is forced to back off as there are 4 of them there, and they don't want to lose anymore. That was a 1-for-0 trade, just the Darkseer going down, but not a too bad of a trade, though they did not manage to contend the Roshan, and they burned all of their ultimates on that, so they are going to be a little bit closer to defenseless as the game wears on. Ale just defending up the middle lane here, trying to push it out, keep it pushed out so it doesn't end up costing them. And it looks like BZZ is going to pick up a Butterfly. Just bought it outright. I was waiting to see what he would spend his gold on. And it looks like he just didn't want to buy it and allow anyone else to counter him with an MKB. If you do end up buying, say, an Eagle Horn or, say, a Talisman of Evasion early, it's very, very obvious what you're going for as the Gyrocopter, and that gives Unicorn and Miggle time to build the MKB and negate your evasion. Going on Solo down here, getting the sheep up, and the ultimate out, but he will BKB, phase shift, and blink away. So he will, looks like he manages to get away. Oh, nope, damage coming through, and he will go down. They had vision of him in the trees there. Very good play from AL, ganking up on the puck. Miggle just kind of throwing out his Sprout to give vision back there, making sure there is no gem or anything in the corner. But the gem was on Dread last I checked, and he still has it. He has finished his Assault Cuirass by now, which will help out pushing all these buildings down. The minus armor aura, does affect buildings. So that'll help them push quite a bit faster as far as that goes. And just look at the damage output from BZZ. They forced to blow the glyph, and he will pop off his images to do a little bit of damage. Wall coming out, stun coming out on BZZ. BZZ does still have his BKB up, so a couple more images being made from the disruption. He gets sheeped up, but to no matter. He's going to wait for the Aegis to pop this time. Solo dropping the ultimate on Mania and Unicorn. Unicorn going down immediately. Sand King going down just as quickly. BZZ ends up popping the BKB and chasing them all away. He gets sprouted up, but disrupted again defensively. Getting out a couple more images, and that Flak Hand just doing work in the middle of the fight there. Shadow Demon getting a double kill there in the middle of the fight, picking up the last hits on everything. Another Rax will go down, and I'd be looking for the GG calls at any minute. Darkseer has just bought back into the game, but there's not a whole lot he can really do with 55 seconds on that ultimate cooldown. Rox.Kis rotating bottom now to take out the last lane of Rax and get the Megas, but Solo initiating in, getting sheeped up, and getting some damage thrown out on him, but nothing too serious as of yet. Mania going down, looks like Miggle gets evaporated right there, and Mania taking a bunch of extra damage. GG's come out from AL here. They recognize it's over. Everyone knows. Solo popping his BKB at the very end of the game, just so he looks all nice and shiny. And BZZ doing the same. A little bit of post-game stat padding going on here. Possibly for your compendium predictions, but anywho, game's about over now, so I'll give my ending spiel. My name is CC. You can catch me at youtube.com/CCDota. That's SEEC Dota. I have casted a couple other games up on there if you want to go check those out. A couple pubcasts and another game 2 of this series, actually, I have already casted. I will be casting my way through quite a few more games in the coming days, so please check back to my channel often and subscribe. I would love some subscribers. That would just make my day. Views are great, subscribers are better. Check me out, youtube.com/CCDota. SEEC Dota. Catch you later, guys, and enjoy some good Dota.